Hello students, Mr. Young here. As promised, there's not going to be a test for Chapter 8. Instead, we're going to do a little project, and it's going to be, maybe for some of you, a little more difficult. This is the advanced class, so we're going to try something a little different. If you need help, as always, contact me. But I'm going to try to give you really thorough instructions so everyone has a clear idea of what to do and how to do it. So the date is theoretically November 17th, unless you work ahead or you are behind. But regardless, if you're doing work on the day it's due, like many of my students do, it is currently after the presidential election. Now I'm actually making this lesson before the presidential election. But theoretically, by now we have a new president. For this assignment, I want you to go to the website for whoever has won the presidency about a week from now and tell me 3 campaign promises that candidate made and whether or not that promise seems to fall into the description of what the powers of the executive branch basically are according to the Constitution. So I have here a list of those things, powers of the executive branch, as listed in our textbook, Chapter 8, Lesson 2. We have carry out laws passed by Congress or enforce the laws. That one's pretty broad. You can probably throw a lot of those campaign promises in there. Direct foreign policy, so that's like dealing with other nations. Name ambassadors. Negotiate treaties with other nations. That might be one that you see too. Nominate Supreme Court justices. That's one that's been in the news. And command the armed forces. That one can be pretty broad as well. For a more thorough list, I actually linked a site here. I hope it works for you. It's a Cliff Notes website, and it goes through in more in depth the powers. You can also look at the Constitution itself, or if you, like maybe this site doesn't work, you can pretty much Google powers of the president and find any number of websites with more specifics as well. But I hope this link works for you. Now, what does this mean? What are you saying, Mr. Yand? Basically, you're going to go to their website and see some of the things they say they're going to do, and then see if it falls within one of these, basically these presidential powers. So, for example, let's say Donald Trump has won the election. I'm going to go to the Donald Trump website. Okay, here's the Donald Trump website. Positions/issues. I was looking around in here, and I happen to be looking at trade. And I saw, oh, he wants to negotiate fair trade deals. Oh, okay. So, if I look in Chapter 8, Lesson 2, I can see powers of the executive branch right here. And that one seems to fall under maybe direct foreign policy, or maybe negotiate treaties with other nations. So that seems like something he can actually do as president. Okay. Let's try the other candidate. Let's say I'm looking at Hillary Clinton. I go to her website. Alright, so we got issues. That's the one where she'll probably make all her promises. And there's a whole bunch here. I picked one that I thought would be easy. Combating terrorism and keeping the homeland safe. And here she talks about defeating ISIS. How do you defeat ISIS? You can do it with your military. And I know from looking at Chapter 8, Lesson 2, on there it says command the armed forces. So that seems like something she'd be able to do. So there's just 2 examples. So this assignment is going to be in paper form. It should be 5 paragraphs. There's going to be an introduction paragraph, and it's going to say, oh, this is the person who is going to become president in January. They have won the election. They're going to be president. Oh, and, you know, the executive branch, they have some of the following powers. You can go ahead and put any of these on there you want. That's really your introduction paragraph. Then you're going to have 3 body paragraphs. Each paragraph is going to have a campaign promise and whether or not they have the ability to do that power. as you interpret the Constitution. That was like we just did with these examples. So if you were doing Hillary Clinton, your first paragraph might be, Hillary, in her campaign, promised to take out ISIS. I think that this is something Hillary Clinton can do because, as the president, she's in charge of the armed forces. Instant paragraph. Paragraph number 2, maybe you'll choose something totally different. Maybe you'll choose, let's take a look. Another thing, I'm kind of searching for ones that I know she can do. We might say, you could choose racial justice, and that involves a lot with our criminal justice system, and that means laws, and so maybe if we talked about that, that would fall into the category of carry out the laws, because it is the laws that everyone should be treated equally. We remember that. That's one of your basic rights. So as president, it's her job to enforce the laws and make sure everybody is treated equal. So there's a lot of room for interpretation here. So that's really your assignment. You're going to do it a third time. Let's say Trump wins. He said he was going to build up the military. I'm sure that's in there. National defense, there it is. Work with Congress, defense sequester. Increase the army size, there's an easy one. Your third paragraph, if Donald Trump wins, might be, Donald Trump says he's going to increase the army size to 540,000 troops. I think that's something Donald Trump can actually do under the powers of the Constitution because he is the commander-in-chief of the whole military. Instant paragraph. There you go. So that's basically what you're doing. And you're going to do that for whoever wins. Like I said, I've made this assignment before the actual election, so I don't know who it's going to be. So you're going to be doing it on either Hillary or Donald. So you're going to have the introduction paragraph. It's going to say who the president's going to be. Was it going to be either Hillary or Trump? What are some powers of the president? Conveniently listed here. Also in Chapter 8, Lesson 2. Then you're going to choose those 3 campaign promises and say whether or not there's something that the president can do according to the Constitution. That's your 3 body paragraphs. And then a conclusion at the end. And really, I don't have anything too specific for you to put in the conclusion other than it's tying a nice little bow on your paper. You can say anything that's relevant. You can maybe say, I think Hillary Clinton is going to be a fine president, or I don't think Hillary Clinton is going to be a good president, or I think Donald Trump is going to be a disaster, or I think Donald Trump is going to make America great again. You can throw your own little flair in there. Just keep it school appropriate. So, that's your end of Chapter 8 wrap-up assignment. Now, this is kind of a lot, so you're getting 2 days to do it. You have today, which is theoretically Thursday the 17th. So you have today to work on it, and it is technically due tomorrow, which is Friday, November 18th. But that gives you tomorrow to work on it as well. And because the assignment is due on a Friday, that means theoretically or technically you have Saturday and Sunday to do it too if you need a little time. I almost never take away any points for late work. So if you need the weekend to work on it, you can turn it in anytime during the weekend, then hop right back on to Chapter 9 come Monday. Now I want to take a moment to show you the rubric. This is the assignment instruction day. The submission day, our next page here, you hit the next button. All it says is, there's a typo. Today's your submission day for the wrap-up assignment. Note it's a Friday. If you need more time, you can work over the weekend like I just explained. More importantly, here's the rubric. Take a look at it before you submit so you know you're going to get all the points. Basically, you're going to be graded on spelling and grammar. That's worth 5 points, so you're allowed to basically have 1 spelling or grammatical error. I'm not like an English teacher, so I'm not going to nail you if you put a period, or a comma rather, instead of a semicolon. But proofread your work, all right? Your introduction and conclusion are worth 5 points each. So make sure you have both of those, so you get the 10 points in that category. And now here's where the bulk of the points lie. Your body paragraphs are pretty much it. If you have 3 paragraphs and each one explains what the promise was and whether or not it falls under the constitutional authority of the president, you'll get all your points. If you just give me 3 campaign promises but don't explain how those fall in with executive power, then you're not going to get as many points. So there's one category for the campaign promises. Basically, each campaign promise you tell me is worth 5 points, and each explanation is worth 5 points. So that gives you those 2 categories. Basically, your body paragraphs are worth 30 points. So all told, this assignment is worth 45 points, which is about what a normal test would be. So that's it. I understand this may look like a lot, so please contact me if you have any questions or come to lesson help. Alright, we're coming up on 12 minutes here, so I'm going to cut it here. Please let me know if you have any questions. Alright, goodbye.